Hello, I am back. Now, you may have noticed that I am holding the microphone this time. And the reason for that is because I'm going to try a different kind of video today. Now, this is still a discussion video. You saw the title, this is still going to be topic based. However, what I usually do when I make these videos is I'll have my big piece of paper and I'll jot down bullet points and I will take that and I will turn it into about a 3 to 5 page script. Obviously, the longer videos being 5 pages, the shorter ones being about three, 2.5, 3.5, something like that. And that's kind of like my baseline to where I use as a reference to kind of talk the entire video. This video is going to be more of like a free form discussion where it's just going to be my raw, unfiltered feelings. I have the guys that I want to talk about, and I'm just going to let it go off the top of my dome. If you're interested in this type of video, please let me know. I would love to hear which kind of video you prefer more. Do you prefer me sitting here reading off a script, or do you prefer me just talking about nonsense for however long this video is? Now, the parameters of this video, which is potentially the worst NFL contracts going into this year, are that these must be players who are not on expiring deals and not on rookie contracts. So these must be guys who have signed a second deal or a third deal or so on and so forth. Now, that also means that these players must be signed for at least 2 years without void years. If you don't know what void years are, they're basically years added on to stretch out the average annual payout for a player contract. That way you can make up some extra money. So if you had, it's kind of hard to explain. If you had a guy who had 1 year left and you added a void year onto that, it would half the contract. Maybe I didn't explain it right. It's a little confusing. It's kind of a thing that's kind of resurfaced this year. A bunch of teams are doing it, so I'm still trying to study and learn on it. But anyways, that brings us into discussion of my honorable mention. Now, the reason this player is an honorable mention is because he is an expiring contract, and that is Dak Prescott, who is going to be playing on the final year of his deal. Jerry Jones is going to let it ride, and for the first time, it seems that Dak is not guaranteed as the future of the Cowboys. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, especially considering that Dak's cap hit is something in like the 50 million range. And that the Cowboys really haven't signed anybody this offseason. But with that, just throw Dak out there. It's going to be a storyline to watch. We're going to need to see. We also, based on the performance, we're going to see whether Dak is asking for what he was already getting, or if Dak is going to ask for $60 million a year, and heaven forbid that Dak is demanding $60 million a year. But that's beside the point. Let's get on to the first guy. Now, the first guy is going to be Geno Smith. Now, do I think Geno Smith is a bad quarterback? No. I do not think Geno Smith is a bad quarterback. However, I do think that we have seen the best of Geno Smith, and that doesn't just include the Seahawks. I think across the league, I think we've seen the best of Geno Smith. Now, obviously, there's going to be a new coach. There may be another last hurrah for Geno Smith when they tried to write him off and he didn't write them back, so to speak. But I think we've seen the best of Geno Smith. The problem is that Geno Smith's cap hit in 2024 is going to be $26 million. Now, that's not great. But what's even worse is that when it hits 2025, his cap hit's going to boost up to $38 million. The Seahawks missed their potential out window. And so, Geno Smith is guaranteed, if they were to cut him, it would be $39 million in dead cap, which is not great. However, if you think about the Seahawks situation, what they could do is, this is obviously a quarterback heavy draft. There's a lot of guys that are projected to drop. to possibly the second round. And if Seattle's available to grab a guy, maybe they sit behind Geno Smith till like Thanksgiving, they throw him in, and then they see what the kid can do. And you kind of just have Geno on the roster to be a mentor. Now, it's an expensive mentor, but a mentor nonetheless, to train your young guy with the nice receiving core around him. But if we're not seeing big run Geno that we saw 2 years ago, and instead we're seeing last year's Geno, this is easily like a bad contract. Now, my next player is going to be Bradley Chubb. Now, Bradley Chubb is coming off of his second ACL tear, entering his age 28 season. So that's already not a great start for any kind of money that you are going to be paying a guy. But there is a potential out that he will have. But otherwise, it is a $29 million cap hit for 3 seasons. Now, I don't think that Bradley Chubb, coming off of 2 torn ACLs, is going to be a game wrecker, like a Max Crosby, a Nick Bosa, one of those guys, an Aaron Donald. Enjoy your retirement. I don't think Bradley Chubb, when healthy, will be one of those guys coming off of 2 major knee injuries before his age 30 season. Now, I'm not saying that Bradley Chubb is just going to be some nobody and that he's just going to dwindle out of the league. He's gone by next year. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying, though, is it's a lot of money, and unless Bradley Chubb is a Nick Bosa, is a Max Crosby, is an Aaron Donald, the money's just going to be way too much for who he is. So he's currently my number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's my 5th spot. Coming off of that, we have Von Miller, who is currently with the Dolphins and is currently the only player on the Dolphins other than Josh Allen, apparently. As you probably saw today, I don't know when this video is coming out. As you probably saw on the 3rd of April, is that Stefon Diggs was traded from the Buffalo Bills to the Houston Texans for a second-round pick. Now, there were also some picks added on to Stefon Diggs to make the trade happen. So the Houston Texans received some picks as well along with Stefon Diggs, making them unbelievable on offense while also having late-round draft capital. It's kind of incredible. But if you think about the Bills this year, at least this offseason, they've really been shedding everybody. Tre'Davious White is gone. Stefon Diggs is gone. I don't know who Josh Allen is going to throw the football to. And I don't know if Von Miller is going to be playing long enough for his contract to have an actual impact. Von Miller is going to have a $20 million annual value, but he's under contract till 2028, where he's going to be 39 years old by the time his contract ends. Now, obviously, I don't think that he's going to be with Buffalo for that entire time, but he has been missing time the last 2 seasons, and he didn't start a game last year. For a guy that's going to make Geno Smith money, we're really bringing this around full circle. For a guy that's going to make Geno Smith money until 2028, until he's 40 essentially, there's just no foreseeable way that I can imagine that the contract pays for itself. I just can't see it. I can't envision it. I can't imagine that this goes well. So he will currently be my number 4. Now, my next guy is going to be Derek Carr. Now, his cap hit this current year is only going to be $12 million, which is really good. Apart from the fact that the Saints are always in cap hell regardless of what kind of quarterback situation they have. But next year, it's going to jump up to $51 million in cap hit. There's not a potential out until 2026, which is his age 35 season. Now, do I think Derek Carr is bad? No. Well, do I think Derek Carr is bad? That's a good question, actually. He's definitely not bad. He's probably more league average than Geno Smith, I would say. He threw about, I think, 3,800 yards this year. He had a good touchdown interception ratio, but I think that was like inflated. I don't trust Dennis Allen as far as I can throw him. I just don't believe in Derek Carr. Derek Carr just really hasn't been the same since that playoff series back in like 2013. And man, I miss when Derek Carr was like really good and was like kind of in the discussions, like the Dak discussions, where it's like, is Derek Carr an elite quarterback? And everybody was like, no. But it was still nice to see his name being thrown around when he was with the Raiders. But now with the Saints, who are already in cap hell every single year, I don't know who their financial bookie is. That guy needs to get fired. That guy needs to be immediately terminated. And I don't wish that on anybody. But I can't imagine. I don't know how the Saints never have money. Ever. 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 My next guy, which is my number 2 guy, is going to be Mr. Daniel Jones. Danny Dimes out of the New York Jets. Now, it is $47 million cap hit starting this year. There is a potential out in 2025 with only $22 million in dead cap. But if not, he is not a free agent until 2027. Now, you could say, well, the reason the Giants weren't great, Daniel Jones was out for the year. They were relying on Tommy DeVito to kind of lead them. There was a fun storyline there. Did not last forever. It ended by Christmas, actually. And it was funny because when he was benched, they were already saying that kids in New York hadn't even opened their Tommy DeVito jerseys yet from the Christmas tree when he was like announced, like, yeah, he's not starting. So the other problem for Mr. Daniel Jones is that the Giants front office has already okayed that the New York Giants can go out and get a quarterback in this draft. Now, the Giants are picking 5th, I believe. I believe it's Bears from Carolina, and then it's Bears from Carolina, it's Washington, it's the Patriots, the Cardinals, and I think it's the Giants. I think it's the top 5 draft order. I have not looked at a draft board at all this offseason. Don't blame me. I have been looking at all kinds of baseball recently. I do not have time for the NFL draft until it gets later in April. Then I will cover it exclusively for all of you. Now, if that is the case, and the Giants either grab a guy at 5 or trade down and pick up like a Bo Nix, somebody like that, you're stuck with Daniel Jones for another year. Now, it is, again, there is an out year in 2025 for $22 million in dead cap. It's not too bad. It's Geno Smith money, as we've been reiterating. But man, if they draft a guy and they're like, okay, we're going to just start Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones is like the 15th best quarterback in the league, what do you do? Do you start the guy behind him, while Daniel Jones is still on his $40 million a year type B? Do you keep Daniel Jones as the starter and kind of just have his replacement waiting in the wings like a Jordan Love? I just don't know. I'm just not sure, and it scares me. Now, with all that being said, it is time for my number one potential worst contract of this next NFL season. You know it. I know it. Cleveland knows it. That's right. It's Deshaun Watson. It's Deshaun Watson. It was always Deshaun Watson. Ever since this deal was signed, it was Deshaun Watson. Now, he didn't even want to be there. He wanted to play in Atlanta, and then for some godforsaken reason, the Cleveland Browns were like, would you like $200 million guaranteed? I wish somebody would see me and be like, hey, you deserve about $1 million guaranteed for no reason to be bad at your job. Just cause. I wish, man, I wish. Now, I'm not going to be talking about any of the off the field stuff with Deshaun Watson. It's chronicled, it's archived, you know it, I know it. We're just going to leave it. It's in a box right here. It's in a box. We're just putting it over there. On the field, he's been bad. Every time I see this man, he is throwing to the numbers of a linebacker. I swear to Christ. I will watch this man throw the ball on the run, looking like 2012 Houston Texans. I don't even know if he was there at that time. 2012 Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson, and then just pick it. It's just a pick six. It's just in the numbers of the linebacker. It's never a corner either. That's the most infuriating part about it. He doesn't even throw it into coverage. He just throws it at a defensive player. It's not an overthrow on a route. It's not underthrown. It's not anything. It's just directly thrown at a defender. And it pisses me off. Honestly, it really does. Now, talking about the actual contract, as we said before, it's fully guaranteed. The cap hit starting this year is $63 million. And he will not be a free agent until 2027. Cleveland, you better be praying. You better be praying that there is a way for them to get out of this contract. I don't know the legality of that. I don't care about the legality of that. You better pray that there is a way to get out of this contract because it has been bad and I cannot see any way for it to get better. I am sorry, Cleveland Browns fans. I am so sorry for your future, but this is your life until the year of 2020, the year of our Lord 2027. This is your life. Now you may be asking yourselves at home, possibly, why are there only 6 people on this list? Why not 5? Why not just take Geno off if you're just going to talk about him all day? Why not add 4 more and make it 10? Nice round number. 6 is a weird number. And you know what I say to that? This is my show and I will do what I want. I will make don't tempt me. I will make a top 4 list next time if you tempt me. I will make a top 13 list. So help me. Anyways, maybe this was a bad idea doing it off the rip and not doing it off a script. But if you like it this way, I'm more inclined to do something like this again in the future. I had fun with this. This is very fun for me. But those are my top 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 potential worst NFL contracts this year and Dak. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was somewhat entertaining for you. Please let me know if you want me to continue something like this or if you want me to never do this again. I will have a similar but opposite video coming out tomorrow. So I hope you will join me for that as well. And I hope you have a good day.